Welcome students of Adam Smith College, this is Jonathan Mortimer. I'm choosing to do my animation lecture from home today due to the snowy conditions and the weather outside. As you can tell from the PowerPoint presentation in front of you, the forecast is pretty bleak for the next couple of days, with heavy snow being tomorrow, which is our usual lecture for the first year in H&D computer animation. Now the plan for tomorrow was going to be a refresher on rigging your character using controllers. With 3D Studio Max. I've got a couple of examples up here for you, if you kindly look. You should have, over the last couple of weeks, you should have an organic model and a non-organic model, a robot and an organic model if you're choosing. And now I know that a couple of you still haven't finished these models. I would recommend that you finish these ASAP because we're moving on to rigging your character in preparation for the 30-second animation ident. Today we're going to talk about controllers and rigging your character. We have done some rigging and some bones and skeletal systems in the last couple of weeks. This is just now going to focus on rigging your character using controllers, which will make your animation far simpler for you to control, a lot more fun. So we'll start off with my ladybug, which is my organic character. As you can see here, it doesn't look too much. I've got a couple of legs. Nothing too complicated. However, if I unhide it for a second, if it gives me the option, unhide all, you can see the controllers pop up. The controllers are just to make it a lot easier for me to control this model. For example, if I select the bottom base and move it up and down, it moves the entire model. Also, if I make sure I have my snap toggle on, I can then rotate it quite easily. You can also now see that the bones are visible. I'd like to take this opportunity to reiterate that from last week's lecture that bones and splines will not come up in your render unless you choose it to be, unless you go to the modify and make it a renderable poly or renderable spline. So don't worry about that for now. No one's going to see anything going on there. When it comes to the head, since I've chosen to animate a bug, I've got a lot more controls in there to help it with animation. Now for the legs, I've used IK solvers. The reason for that is because since I've got about 3 sections or 4 sections to each individual legs, it would just be a monster pain if I try to animate and move these individual pieces. However, with IK solver and with the spline, it makes it a lot easier for me to then animate and move around the legs and different body parts. Still using the keyframe animation, however, as you can see, less hassle. That's for the organic character. Now for the inorganic, or the robot, very much the same system has been set up. I've got, since I want more mechanical twisting and turning, I've got the splines are situated in such a manner that you'd expect mechanical movement to move in. I've got my pneumatic systems around here that if I twist and turn, then pivot back and forth. Okay, same with the shoulders. And once again, IK solvers for the legs. And feet. So guys, let's get started. So you've got your new Max file open. We're going to go to the crate. We're going to go to make sure you're on systems, bones. Don't worry about the size and width for now. Like we can deal with that in due course and time. All I'd like you to do is just click once, drag and create one bone, 2 bone, and then press escape at the end of this bone. Like so. Okay, it's also worth noting at this point, I'll just take away my grid so you can see. If you check from the list from the scene, you'll have 3 bones there. Now you've only created 2, which is this one and then the other one. This one is created as a default as soon as you press escape, so don't worry about it for now. Okay, now since you've got 2 bones, this could represent an arm or a leg or anything like that. We'll just keep it nice and simple for now. Now remember what we talked about for the hierarchy system? The first bone that you create is the parent and basically anywhere that parent moves, the children, or the other bones that come off it, will follow. Now when it comes to moving and rotating the children, they are affected, however the parent is not. But anyway, let's carry on. Select the first bone that you created, go to animation, IK solvers. Now we're interested in IK limb solver for now, so click on that. A dotted line will appear, point and hit on the third bone. Okay, a white continuous line shall appear, and you also get a blue arrow. Now this blue arrow or crosshairs is very, very important, because with it you can affect and move all of them at once. And that's what we're interested in now. High solvers and limb solvers, whatever the case could be. It's just to make the animation a lot easier for us. If we wanted to do this without the IK solver or without the limb solver, we'd have to select one bone, move it, rotate it, select the other bone, rotate it. With this, you select one point and the rest is moved. You can still move the parent around with or without. The problem comes that if I want to move the whole arm, what's going to happen about this bit here? So, back to create, back to shapes, create a circle. Now we're going to position this circle just right there. Okay, make sure you colour it. Doesn't really have to be anything particularly that fancy. I'm going to use green, doesn't matter what colour you use. Select the crosshairs, the blue crosshairs, which is the limb solver. We're now going to use the linking tool, and we're just going to drag that onto the circle. Okay, the circle is there just simply because it's a bigger object and it's easier just to kind of control and move around. As soon as you get in like some more bones to represent fingers and so forth, it'll be a lot easier. Bottom line. Also, when you select and rotate it, make sure you have the angle snap and percentage snap tools on. Just makes it a bit easier. So you're still rotating it, but you're rotating it to 5 to 10 degrees each time. Which is cool. So we've got that. We're moving this around, right? Okay. The problem comes when we move the top. Oh, right, the bottom bit is left behind. So to accomplish this, we need to create a new controller, a new splines, whatever the case may be. Now we're going to go to, well, it's up to you. I'm going to create a rectangle, just at the top. Coloured slightly different colour, and I'm going to take the top bone, link this to there, so when I start moving this, that controls that section. Okay, that's great, but as I said, it's still not going to accomplish anything. That if we move here, pardon me, if we move the circle, right, that's great, but if we move that square, right, that is left. However, you can link one controller to another, so we can select the green circle, select and link it to here, so whenever this is moved, the shoulder controller is moved, the rest of the arm is moved with it. And we can still select here, and we can still move the rest of the arm. That's a very simple controlling system for your bones, but yet still effective. So I would highly recommend that you use as many controls as possible. It's worthwhile if we go back to the robot just for a second. You can see the sheer amount of controllers that I have attached and got in here. I didn't really explain properly before, but you have to position, especially for your robot, you have to position these controllers in certain points, possibly in a linear fashion, or some sort of restrictive movement, to give the impression of a robotic or mechanical movement. Like so. Okay. So we can rotate that there instead of moving the rest of the parts. One very important feature that I'd highly recommend, and it'd be certainly advantageous to all of you, was at the base of your model, create one big circle, square, whatever the case may be. This will be your controller, your main controller for the entire body. This means that if you move this, it'll move all the controllers, all your objects within the scene, all the objects attached to your robot in one movement, which will make it a lot easier to handle and move about. Okay, so we've gone on to do bones before. I've just shown you a little bit about how to use how to create your bones again, the limb solvers, how to use the splines again as controllers. That should be enough. I'd probably like at this point just to focus on rigging your mechanical model first. See any problems you have with that. You don't have to worry about skinning, you don't have to worry about anything else, cloth modifiers. We'll probably deal with that later on. If we can all focus on getting the robot done for now, that's great. If you accomplish that quite happily, by all means move on to your organic. So let's just for the people that are interested in the organic again, just let's create a cylinder. I'm just going to do this very, very quickly for you guys, just so that no one's left thinking, oh, what am I going to do? And you're not getting too bored on a snow day. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect, but you guys understand where I'm kind of going with this. Create systems. I'm going to create 2 bones. 1, 2. Fantastic. 3rd bone is automatically created. So, same thing again. Animation, limb solver. Boom. There's my arrow. My crosshairs. I can move it quite happily. Okay. Select the cylinder. This is good for skin. For your organic character. Make sure you select the cylinder, whatever object you've got. Skin. You've got the parameters that pop up. Bones. Add. Make sure that you use the control button to select them all. So hopefully, if this all goes well, when I start moving up, you see that deforms and bends my cylinder in. If you need to edit or change the excuse me. If you need to edit or change the envelopes, which is basically how the bones affect the object around about it, I'll go back so you can see it. Select the cylinder with the skin modifier already on it. I'm going to select one of the bones, just top bone's perfect for now. And top parameters, you've got edit envelopes. Left click on there, and you can see from the smooth and highlights in my perspective mode, the red kind of tone that comes up shows in how much my that bone affects that model, or the skin option there. You can see in other views, of course. If you select and drag that out, you can affect the envelope for that bone. You can even go down to another bone, back and forth in to see how it affects. And remember, it depends on the complexity of the shape that you originally had. Excuse me. The more vertexes you have, the more movement you can get. Play around with the envelopes a wee bit. We haven't had much experience playing about the envelopes and skinning, but if you try your best until we get back into college and get everything done, that's perfect. So yeah, focus this week on rigging your character, getting ready for the research and the planning stage of your 30-second ident with myself and Tina. It's probably worth mentioning at this point, there's a free program that you could certainly look into. It's called Celtx. It has a number of options which will make it a lot easier, very similar to what you have to produce for the college. You've got storyboards. You have to draw your own storyboards, but they have the ability to create an animatic from there, plus put in a wide shot or different shots that you may need. A schedule production, because of course you'll have to produce a schedule for myself and Tina of how you're going to create your 30-second ident over 6-7 weeks. Possibly even a screenplay or script. Master catalogue if you've got any characters. And so on and so forth. By all means, look it up. It's Celtx. It's free to download. If you don't feel like that, then by all means you can download a storyboard sample sheet, which you can draw your storyboards directly on there. If you can't find one, you can by all means contact myself and I shall email it to you. But for now, just focus on rigging your character and using splines for controllers. I'll be in contact with yourselves very shortly. If you have any further questions, by all means email me. If you'd like any further videos, once again contact me and ask me, tell me exactly what you want. Thank you, and I shall see you soon.